And it started. Welcome back, everyone who finds this video later, because I don't think anyone's watching right now. Welcome to another Drupal and Coffee. Used to be Drupal and Coffee in the morning, but it sure ain't morning now. This is the official part one. Well, it is if I can get the migration working. Where we're building a Drupal 8 website from scratch. And today I want to dive into one of the things that happens early on in the process, migrating content. I kicked off a migration process here, just testing things out. I've gotten a lot of error messages saying some of the migrations failed. So actually what I want to do is I want to start over. I look at Drush and I see what kind of operations I have with this migration. The migrate upgrade command is what I've tried to execute. And I'll go into the guts of this command here, because this is really the key thing I want to show tonight. This one command here. But I see that it has a sibling where I can just go back to the migration, and I have never executed that before. I want to see how intelligent my command is. And I'll also be looking at a screen over here to see anybody comes into the chat off to the side there. I'll have to keep my eye on that just to make sure that somebody else trolling me as I go here. I'll be here for the next 2 hours or so. Trying to execute this, trying to fight through my laggy command line here. Alright, so that says it's going to roll. Let's see if it has any additional arguments by doing its help page. Oh, maybe that's not the whole command. Maybe it's a rollback. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, there's no arguments. Okay, let's just execute it correctly. Push migrate. Rollback. Oh, got a word. Push migrate. Upgrade. Rollback. What do you do? Yes, I'm sure. Roll it, roll it, roll it. Cool. I also opened another command terminal to see if I can see how well the process is running. Figure out I could isolate a specific process by doing a S, X, or Rush. And I see what is delivered. This first number here is the process ID or PID. And then I can say top key argument and then paste. Trying to paste that processing. Then I can keep my eye on the resources that it's using. It's currently using about 60% CPU and a good chunk of memory too. So this is pretty interesting. You know, one of the things that is different between Drupal 7 and Drupal 8 is how the migration process works. not only is migrate in Drupal 8 as part of the core offering, so that we can migrate Drupal 6 and Drupal 7 sites into Drupal 8, but it also is less reliant on you writing some code in order to wire up what's the source that I'm going to be migrating, what is the destination, where the data is going to be funneling into it. Part of what this drush command does is run all the default provided migration files. I'm thinking that before the end of the night, what I might have to do is write my own migration config that tells the process exactly how to migrate those files. So if everything works well tonight, what I think I'm going to be able to get done tonight is do the standard migration process, load data, which will load data from a Drupal 6 site into a Drupal 8 site. And then possibly write my own configuration so that I can control how that migration process works. If I get lucky, maybe it will automatically handle all the image files appropriately, and I won't have to work for a long time to make sure that all the content that is supposed to have images still have their images or file attachments or whatever. And if in the course of 2 hours I get all of that done, I'll take a peek into the effort that I'm going to need to make in order to take over the rendering of what templates that are being used. So that's the kind of that's what we're looking at tonight. An initial effort at the migration process to use all the automated tools. A secondary effort to try to programmatically take control of the migration process. Sanity check the thing, and then maybe some theming. It's still doing things. Using less CPU now. Oh, hi, Lowell. I see Lowell made the chat. Hey, Lowell, did you know that I sent you an invite this time? A real invite. I don't know if you have a microphone or anything, but if you wanted to add your voice to this commentary, you could. We can add a troll comment channel. I just noticed something. YouTube page has commenting. Fix that all good stuff here. Oh, jeez. Tweet. Part of the reason why I'm looking at how much resources this process is taking is because I want to make sure that it's actually doing something. When it just sticks at one step of the process like this, I fear that it's just like stalled or something. Oh, there it goes. Hey, and it's done. Why don't you know as soon as I start complaining? All right, well, it says it's done. Let's go back to the site. And then I'm going to refresh. What I should see is all the default stuff that was there before. At least that's my expectation. Looks like the title is still the same. I wonder if I could log into the site and see if it has any content. Now, this is just me being curious. all I have to do is select it. And it should copy to the clipboard. Using the good old Drush ULI trick to generate a one-time login link. All you old school Drupalists. How about that? All right, I'm in. Go to content. Is it time to get a new laptop? Is it a hardware issue? I do not want to spend any time in build tools today. I can just hear Tess's voice in the back of my head. Should be using Docker. I wonder if Tess succeeds. There we go. It's finally okay. Well, I'm still singing. Still seeing something. What are these? It doesn't say. It doesn't list a specific content type. This is not an empty site anymore. You know what? I think I know. These things are probably images, image content type. This seems familiar in my attempts in the past. You know, it's not fresh, so why don't I just go ahead and dump the database. I do that by doing another handy drush command, drush drop. Which was a better command. Not only drop the database that I'm doing here, but I'm also clearing out the config and anything that was previously loaded. But I guess I'll just do it manually. Drush SQL drop, and go ahead, blindly do what I'm telling you to do. Drop in the database like that, and then I'm going to go on over to application here. Still see all these files, and look at this. Look what it did. So we know that this config directory is automatically generated, and that these CSS files are automatically compressed, and so are the JavaScript files. This photos directory seems as if it actually succeeded in grabbing files. Yeah, these are some of their files. Old files. Long ago. Like it actually succeeded in pulling them. But Drupal also expects the files to be here in the root. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. There's another pictures directory. Yeah, confused file structure there. I guess I could try to dig into what the migration process is to resolve that mystery. Right now, all I really want to do is drop the database, drop this whole files directory, and start over. There we go, it's gone. So I previously set up a command to do the installation, which if my editor will be kind to me, I'll be able to navigate to it real quick. Come on. There it is. So sudo, because it's going to need to make edits to some files. SI, which stands for site install, and then I give it a DB URL to list both the username of my database connection, not using a password, the name of the server, and the name of the database. This is the old school Drupalers. This is like how the one-line database connection info was for Drupal 6. handy as a one-line argument to a one-line crush command. I'll execute that. I did hit the enter. Yep. Drop all the tables again just in case. And if I look on over to my files, I'll probably see soon. There it is. It's generated the files directory. It's going to throw new stuff in there. We'll take a look at what is created after that. Oh, you're pretty quiet. I saw one comment. Yeah. You still there? All right. Yep, and now that files directory has more things. I guess I could figure out if it's running. Oh man. It's still doing things. Maybe it's not really there. I'm getting two processes. And if I'm reading this right, it's the second process. This one. It's actually using some CPU time. What is the D's? Okay, R stands for been running for 2 minutes. All right, finished. Gave me a password. Site. Log in with that password. And it should be fresh now. While I wait to log in there, let's kick off the migration process for Rails with a sudo command, because the last time I ran it without sudo, and I think that tripped it up. Like it started doing a file migration process, and then when I killed it using Control C, and it stopped, that it remembered that it had previously started and thought that it had finished, or something like that. So now with this sudo command, I'm going to execute migrate upgrade, give it access to the legacy database, which I previously loaded in. This legacy database has the pristine Drupal 6 site database unaltered, and I'm going to give it the URL of the Drupal 6 site, which is a website for a local robotics club at the Edina High School. And so if I kick this off, and of course, I didn't enable the right module. Go ahead, do that. Great. And by enabling it to Thresh, it figures out what other dependencies it needs, and it will enable those as well. All done. Let's do it. Kicking off the automated migrate upgrade process. Oh, this one would be a good one to track down what the process ID of this is. But all right, so we've hit the URL alias. That kid's working really hard. All right. Here we go. This one. That. Let's watch. Let's use a good fraction of the CPU. Good for you. Does it kind of look like to you that I'm only using 500 megs of memory, a half a gigabyte of memory? If I'm reading this right. Kilobytes memory. 500 megs, 972 kilobytes. And I'm using almost all of it. I wonder if it's slow because I'm not giving the virtual machine enough memory. I said it wasn't going to work on tools. Not going to work on tools. No tools tonight. Spent all last episode with no tools. I'm going to do it again. On the other hand, well, I definitely don't want to kill this process. That's how we ran into problems again, and I don't want to kick it off again, have to redo it again, not do it at all again. The moment of truth has not yet come, but it will come soon when it tries to upgrade either the system files. Wait, here's system file and the system image. Huh. Well, definitely when it starts trying to upgrade the image content type. Maybe here, when it's trying to upgrade files in the file table, which should be all system files for the Drupal 6 site. But they also created an image content type in their Drupal 6 site that basically was the content type to drive a gallery so that images could be reused. It would be really great if in Drupal 8 was able to write a custom migration that allows that to be a file entity. Let's see how far we get with that. We want this process to run pretty much almost unaltered to see how it behaves. Well, it's going to do a lot of stuff for a long time. Come back, see how far it's gone. Just that it's working out. The fact that it's got a status code of S is troubling to me, because that means it's sleeping. You definitely don't want it to sleep. Maybe the reason why it's sleeping is because it's actually going out to grab the files. Oh, isn't that interesting? The photos directory has appeared again, and we are getting, or we have received these thumbnails again. If I'm looking at the names of the files, from what I remember, looks like, here it just was scrolling. Seems like we don't have all the images that it once had. If I look at what work is actually going, I'm seeing spikes of disk. Rhythm network. We're receiving content from a site on Bluehost. Could very well be the site where the site is hosted. So I think we are in the process of downloading a whole bunch of images, and hopefully Bluehost doesn't think we're malicious. If I refresh the site right now, I suspect that I would see that, yep, there's some more images that came in. You'd probably see that some of the content has come in. While it's doing that, let's see if we can find where the code is that is driving this migrate process. If I look into the modules, each module should have migration config. Let's see if I can find migration templates. V6 file. This migration is running. So the migration file has an ID. It's labeled. The tags tell the migration should it run for Drupal 6 or 7. And then here's some of the things that would look familiar to someone who has created migrations for Drupal 7 in the past. We've got our source, we've got our destination, but then we've got these things called plugins. And that refers to the underlying logic of how it's doing that transformation. Some other configuration that drives the configuration is here in process. What are the specific fields that it is coming in? And to me, this almost seems like the map. I don't quite which side is which. You really need to track these things down. D6 file, URI. I'm pretty sure I found a web page of this before. Drupal 8. These two. Why are there two of these? This one seems like it's got the better URL. Alright, upgrading Drupal 6 or 7 to 8. And preparing. Oh, and then it's the first page. And then eventually I get to this page. And they're kind of talking about the UI, but that's probably UI. I remember finding a page that talks about the anatomy of this migrate. Maybe it's in additional topics. Creating a migration plugin for a customer contributor. Let's see, sounds good. What about this page? Migrate API in Drupal 8. Ooh! Like this. Yeah, let's take a look at all those pages. Let me take a look at the source, process, and destination. So you never finding this page before. Alright, yep. So they're dissecting the file that we just saw. Let's talk about the source plugin. And that's supposed to help me find the name of the plugin. And then we're talking about the process. Simple copying. Okay, so subject in the case shown here is from the source, and the destination is the title. So destination's on the left, source is on the right. Okay, that solves that problem. So if I wanted to modify the migration process so that images that were created as content types are really file entities, I'm still unsure how I would do that. But if I could just figure out how to tell the migration that the image content type needs to funnel its data into a file entity, then I know that if I just needed to copy values from the source into the file entity destination, I could use the syntax, the simple copying syntax as listed here, what I have highlighted. All right, let's see how my process is going. Still working on files. I'm still downloading stuff. Yeah, not taking much CPU. Scanning new files. What's funny is that I already have all the files. I thought I had to have them in my import directory here so I could just automatically just load them. So that's nice. Default files directory. Yeah, all kinds of new ones. Come in. And network. Getting 67 bytes per second. Oh, that's 71 kilobytes per second. Not the speed demon that I need it to be. That's hilarious. So one section. Okay. Minimize that folders. Oh, we go. Drupal. So we can keep these images open. There you go. Well, there was a section about doing dynamic migrations, and if I get really stumped, I'll go to the IRC chat room and ask for help. Over here. Migration API. Dynamic migration. So the Drupal 8 Migrate API uses an unusual system. Great. Why not use an unusual system? Migrations are config entities. Why do I need to know that they're config entities? The core modules will provide which provide, not provide. Migration template is just a YAML file. When configuring a set of migrations, I've been reread this sentence like 3 times. This is that whoever wrote this is talking about the guts of what is happening here. It's really interesting, but I'm trying to figure out how to write a custom migration here on a page named Building Dynamic Migrations. Not doing that. Templates are converted into config entities that pass through an intermediate step. Okay. Oh, this is how a module author, you as a module author, can build migrations dynamically. Okay, let me see if I missed something before that sentence. Oh, well, it sounds like they're just basically talking about how if you feed it the right config file, it'll tell the migration process what to do. Migration Builder is a normal plugin. If your modules plugin, if in your modules plugin migrate builder namespace, it must implement migrate builder interface. Does that mean I need to create a migrate builder if I want to make a custom migration? If oh nice. If all this seems incredibly confusing to you, I have good news. You might not need to use templates. The only time a migration needs to begin life as a template is if it needs certain values embedded into it that are not known ahead of time. Only time migration needs to begin life as a template is if it needs certain values embedded into it. What does that mean? You need to configure a migration before you run it. You need a template. Oh, I think what you're saying is that the only reason you need to create a custom migration is if you need to customize the migration process. That the default migration process, that there is a sane default for migrating these things. Things like context blocks. You can completely ignore all this template nonsense. Someone who wrote this thinks the templates are nonsense. Templates and builders are Drupal 8's answer to Drupal 7's migration dynamic migrations. I get the feeling that whoever wrote this migration doesn't like the migration process. And it does not provide me any guidance on how to create my own. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. We're talking about those. Executing an upgrade. Generate migrations for your site. Okay. Executing with Drush. Migrate using Drush, you need these. Then I can do that to see the list of migrations that are available, and do that to kick off a specific migration. To solve, wait, let's not skip. Use module. Won't see any migrations available to run. That's because the individual migrations are created dynamically on the source database you set up. Okay, right. Depending on what it detects is in your source database, it will figure out, do I need to run the Drupal 6 migrations? Do I need to run the Drupal 7 migrations? Since Migrate has no idea what source to use, right? Is it Drupal 6 source? Is it Drupal 7 source? No migrations have been created. To solve this, we need a migrate upgrade module, which you got. Trash, do this. And there's two things that will generate migrations for your site based upon Migrate Drupal's migration templates and your configured source. Yeah. And then it executes every created migration. in dependency order, because migrations can have a dependency. For example, if you're migrating a content type that has images, you'll need to run the image migration process before you start importing the content type that uses its images. Oh, okay. So it says here that after running thrush migrate Drupal, but the command is thrush migrate this. With the configure only parameter, you can run thrush ns and see a list of migrations. Now I did that ahead of the show, but I didn't actually do migrate status. But I thought it would generate files for me, so that's what I was looking for in my code, but I didn't see any. My version control system didn't detect any files being caught. Okay. But if it did, if this command did generate configuration for me, even after this migration is being done, that would be super awesome. Because then I could just zero in on the migration that I need to modify and do what I need to do. Like I need to do some simple things like tell the content that is being generated blog post to basically not be a content named blog post, but to funnel all of its data into the article content type that Drupal provides by default. All right. Am I there yet? Still working on files. Still importing new files. Okay. Oh, but you're kind of using more CPU now. Okay, now it's sleeping. Okay. Oh my gosh, will that run for the rest of the show? Oh no. Well, if it is, I've got another edit job I need to do. Missing filter plugin. Filter null. That's curious. I'm going to track that down. So here are the list of migrations. I'm in Drupal core modules, migration templates. Is there one for filter? Why can't? Oh, it's still indexing. New files. Yay. Wow. If all these things are working, I'll do more reading. One of the other thing that maybe a point of confusion. Oh, I guess it's done. Done indexing. Yep, here's filter. Let me switch that entire directory for filter. Oh, okay. Here it is referred to again, but that is a test. It's a test. Oh, if you look in the comments, it's probably using one of those annotations. Yep. Here's filter null. Provides a fallback placeholder filter to use for missing filters. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think, I mean, this is interesting to find out. For the very first time, we're looking at how these plugins that that work with the migration process are structured. And what we see here is what we'll see a lot in Drupal 8. Basically, plugins that pretty much just have an annotation, and the annotations are important. I'm familiar with these kind of annotations in comments from .NET Land, where you use them to define routes or controllers being used, but this is a custom annotation that accepts an ID, a title, that, and all of these things are basically configuration. During the Drupal, basically up until the point of Drupal 8, every module would have a .info file, and that .info file would have configuration. So we have a way of removing the .info files by having these annotations that are more local anyways. They're defining the config that a specific plugin needs. It's a better system because you can discover this configuration by finding the plugin and then asking it for its configuration. I like it. So the reason why we're hitting filter null is because the old site, the old Drupal 6 site, had created some filters, or maybe it used some filters from a module, and we don't have a good replacement for those input filters anymore. So it can't map appropriately, and it basically just said, well, I quit on that then. And that's fine. I don't think we wanted to bring this over anyways. That was an interesting archaeological dig. It's still downloading files anyways. Hey, I wonder if I could speed up this process if I were to copy the files that I have in the import directory. Like, what if the process is first checking to see if it already has that file? And if it does, it will try to re-download it from the source. Let's see if I can speed this up that way. My IDE's re-indexing again, so why don't I just navigate good old-fashioned way. Directory, sites, people, here. Oops. import directory, click, and then there's photos directory. And we've got folders in there. No files in there. Any files anywhere? Oh, now you're done. Thanks. A few things in here, but not enough. Alright, maybe it really is nice. File, photos. Lots of photos, lots of photos. Lots and lots of photos. Some of these look familiar. What if I put a template? I want that template. What if hopefully this doesn't blow everything up. Default files, photos. $10,307 photos, and I had it had 3,000 photos in this directory. There are 10,000 photos to upload. $2.75 gigabytes. Yeah. I want to find ways to make this process not take that long. And hopefully, what this will tell me is that, yeah, I'm uploading all these files to here, but there were some files that I didn't copy over because I already had them. My God, can you imagine, Lowell, if you're still there? And maybe this isn't. Now, in that other directory, did I have these thumbnails? Yeah, I did. Preview pictures and thumbnails. Yeah. Okay. What did I do to my process here? It's still working on file. I didn't blow it up yet. And let's put this aside so it's in both the screen at the same time. It's still kind of sleeping. The S now is waking up. R used 6.5 minutes of CPU time. Less than a gig. What about my hard drive? My hard drive be able to handle all this? Yeah, okay, we get another 100. Okay, fine. Everything's fine. Probably should close that. Oh, files. Aha! Did have about 3,500 files that need to save dates. I'm okay with skipping all those. Why isn't it just complete? I told you to skip it. Oh, it's going through each to see if it does have the same name. Alright, now it's done. CPU percentage is higher. Still doing stuff. What are you doing? Alright. Got a photos directory. Can I add another directory then? Huh. Well, if I look at the old site, this is the import directory. Go to the sites, default files. Not only did they have photos directory, they had pictures directory. I don't know why that's there. They have an images directory. That. I haven't seen any more file folders being created there. Don't need it yet. But it's still working on files. CPU percentage is much higher than it was. It's still going into sleep and then action and sleep and action. That is consistent with the action of downloaded files still. Network is very spiky. And still getting data from Bluehost. Now it seems like it's at 5 megabytes per second. Maybe there are parts of files weren't in that folder that Drupal maintains that I'm giving you. Let's see if I can find evidence of that. Why am I looking at my ID? My ID is honk. I need to view it. Viewing details. Select by date. There are 10,307 items, it still says, in this directory. I wish I could see what specifically is it doing. Network. Everything is crawling. Ugh. It's not even working. One megabyte per second is pretty good. Wish it was faster. Killing this process at this step is what led to problems the last time. We still have 10,307 items in this folder. My clock is going down. Last did something 9 minutes ago. Create this file. Refresh. Did I refresh or did I reorder? Why is the order all messed up? Looks like it's organizing it by name. There we go. Yeah. 10 minutes ago. Stop looking at it. Well, what are you doing there? Not seeing anything weird. Now we're under a meg. It's dropping. Now it's increasing. Way under a meg. Yeah, I'm about to kill PHP Storm. I'm at going into the mode where I start questioning anything that could be impacting the performance. I'll probably close Slack, other things. Oh wait, yeah, so unless it how to go and it looks like a little sheep. I'm not sure that's helpful. Oh man, it's really working hard. PHP Storm is. But I don't need you to work hard right now. Make sure you get out of the way. I'll close Slack. I'll keep that. There we go. Here my CPU is really hard. Maybe it's finally woke up. Maybe it's doing things. Nope, still doing fine. But still waking up, doing things, and going back to bed. Still suspicious of the amount of memory the virtual machine is getting fed. I need a bigger picture. Alright, yeah, this also showed that the CPU was on a cliff. And now that PHP Storm is closed, those resources have been released. I suspect that the CPU is more available now. Still stuck there. Still sleeping. Here. I wish we could get a better view of what is happening. We've got a styles directory and nothing at all. PHP directory with the compile twig. We've got the files here, and that's good. The last images were created 15 minutes ago. No new images since. So what are you doing, man? Maybe it's recreating, or maybe this is the amount of time it is taking in order to check to see, hey, you're telling me I need to download this image. Oh, I already have downloaded this image. Maybe I don't need to download it. If that's the case, then I shouldn't be using much internet. I'm not. I'm going to try to, why did it just now send traffic to Stanford? Okay. Well, it's 11:15. I don't think this import process will finish. So let me switch gears a little bit and try to take a look at the theming. Now I know that what they'll want to do is create a custom theme or work with a new theme. There are elements that we want to keep from the old site, but we want to have the ability to create a new theme. And part of what we expect to do in the next couple of shows is to be working on that thing and trying to make the parts funnel into that. If we can't get what we need from the migration process, then we can just ditch some of the old content and recreate new ones, because being able to archive past content is important, but being able to be ready for the next year's robotics competition is more important. So let me see if I can open up another command prompt. Here we are. And then I'll get to where the files are. There we go. And that vagrant machine. There we go. So I'm not exactly sure if they want to start with a theme. We had talked about being able to use Bootstrap. It's been a long time since I've devoted the majority of my development efforts to front-end development, but one thing or two. I know that Bootstrap is pretty popular. Let's see if there's a Bootstrap implementation. Or Drupal. Project Bootstrap. Bootstrap 3. Oh. It's a beta, but they're calling it stable. It's got features. Let's just go get it. Alright, here I am, logged into the Vagrant machine. Whenever I'm in a Vagrant machine, I can always go to /Vagrant. And then I can get into the Drupal folder that has. And then I'm going to go grab Bootstrap and enable it in one step. Come to think of it, this may not be the most advisable thing to do, since I'm executing a pretty intensive migration process and telling it to download a module and enable it at the same time. Oh, well, it would help if I spelled it right. Just after I commented on how this is probably not a good thing, I'm going to do it again. Ooh. And I just noticed that Lowell put an icon of a horse into the chat. You are succeeding in communicating nothing, Lowell. Okay. It agrees that the Bootstrap project exists. Yeah. It's executing that. It's enabled it. Now we should be able to get into our Drupal site. There's that. And Lowell communicates a wrench. Thanks. At some point, it told me, oh, here's the end. That's right. Thank goodness that's still on the screen. I clicked the login link, and it's thinking about that. Thanks for thinking about that. Okay, we're ready. Logging in. "11 minutes of CPU time." All right. Cool. And then I have a whole bunch of content. That might be a good thing to take a look at. Lower there. What I really want to do next is to go to appearance and set that Bootstrap theme as my default theme. Let's see if this blows up. Look at this nice menu at the top. If you haven't seen it before, in Drupal 8 is now fully responsive. You can imagine how it gives. Look at this reception of the screen. You can imagine how this would continue to work on a very low format, low screen. The button turns into a tab and scroll down far enough, and then you get the tablet view, you get the mobile device view. Simple pleasures, but very useful. All right, so here we are in the appearance page. And we'll just set that as default, because everything blows up. Still waiting for you to blow up. Process. Not a lot of CPU. Not a lot of memory. Probably not doing much. Haven't moved the needle. Okay, Bootstrap is now the default theme, but it did not take over the administrative theme. I'm already committed to use this one as an administrative theme. The only way to really see it in action is to refresh this page. And while that's doing work, no real content yet. I suppose that isn't surprising. Where we are in the migration process is that we um, tried to load in custom block information and the other block information, user role information, all this other stuff, and it's getting files right now, which it would do before it starts loading content, so that content can handle files. So here we are. Doesn't exactly look like it blew up. This looks like what I remember Bootstrap to be. We got nice little tooltips there. You know, as base themes that really aren't going to be providing a lot of things, it's not half bad. Let's look at the markup a little bit. Make this sign. That's good. Let's close you. There we go. Class row, name. Into the body. Alright, so there are some of the more grid-like classes, being able to tell it how wide something is. That might be nice. You know, we intend to, at least at some point, to be able to hand over some of this process to my students. Being able to show them a grid system of Bootstrap might be an excellent step here. I don't understand these classes, but you know, usually every grid system of sorts has their own little rules. They're all defined in that stuff. No sense in learning that right now. Just the fact that I'm able to get Bootstrap working pretty quickly is just pretty cool. Oh, look at this. The row class is defined by a less file. That will be fun for the future. I got my edit on. Nice little quick link. Oh, but this is the user page. This is my user page. That's the other one what I wanted to see to get to the home page. Yep. For no nodes. If I look at the site information, I'm not going to have to remember. Aha! I do remember. What do we have this figure that has on the page? /home. Yeah, that doesn't exist. Oh, why is he slash? Maybe this is all important. I can't save this page. I'm importing files. Do I have a list of those files here? I do. But why do I have original thumbnail, preview thumbnail? Why do I make that? Did I have 7? 66. Of course it's not used today. Nice. Huh. Oh, it says that the name of the file is thumbnail, but it's really team and superfans.thumbnail.php. That's interesting. That's going to look specifically there. What if I can find that file? Here we are. Team photo.thumbnail. KPG. Okay, right. This photo's not here. And that's a real photo. It's a thumbnail photo. Like this one. Why didn't I highlight it? The group thumbnail. Okay, I'm going to target this one. Parade space prep thumbnail.jpg. Okay, let me go here. Parade prep thumbnail. JPG, that's a real image. Works. This. It also agrees. That's a real image, and it also sees that the image has that file size. Not used anywhere yet. I'll get to that. I really do think that's going to just run. Maybe I should leave this plugged in, let it run overnight, and see if it gets any further. So, lol, we've hit 2 out of 3 of our objectives tonight. We're running the standard migration process, and we got a theme, a base theme in, a theme framework, front-end framework, whatever you want to call it. And we weren't able to get to writing our own migrations. And I don't have another site set up to run that config only command, but it hasn't worked for me in the past. I think the reason why it might not have worked for me in the past is because I issued the config only command first. I'm talking around it. Let me show you Lola. Where's the documentation page? Okay. Oh, I closed that page. This one. Yeah. So here, well, right here. Whenever I tried this command here, I put like brush migrate upgrade dash config your only, and then issued the other parts, the legacy database URL and the legacy root. And maybe that got it confused somehow. I would have hoped that it wouldn't matter what order the arguments need to be, but who knows? Still only files. Still so. Still sorting by date. Okay, no, that's things ordered by date. Yep. So I had hoped that I'd sped up the process by flooding all these files into the directory where they were being uploaded to anyways, but it seems like it's still going to go over 10,307 image files and figure out that it already has the file and go to the next one. But the round trip of being able to, of running the HTTP request for the file is what's eating time. That's not fun. Well, okay. What do you want to cover, Lowell? Anything specific? While I wait for Lowell's answer, one thing I am curious about. Can I give this thing more memory? I mean, I'm not going to shut down the virtual machine. I just want to take a look. We'll take a look at the virtual machine. Lowell answers with a man on a horse followed by another horse. Lowell, I have no idea how you're doing these emotions. Or what you're trying to communicate. But this configuration.yaml file is provided by Puppet. I use Puppet. Perhaps that's problem number one. But anything here that's first? Aha! Memory. Well, it's using all of it. I'm just nuts. Okay. All right. So if I gave it 2 gigs, would that totally melt my computer to the ground? I don't think so. I'm only using half of my memory. And I have another 3 gigabytes available. So I'll run this next time with more memory. I think that's the lesson of tonight, Lowell. If you're going to run a Drupal 8 site in a virtual machine, you need to make sure that it's able to eat and give it what it needs. Well, Lowell, if it's okay with you, I think I'll... Oh, Lowell actually asked a question. 1024 or 2056? Dude, yeah, 2048. Yeah, 2048. I mean, why not? Why go through all this trouble for a 2 times increase, right? Google tells you you need a 10 times increase, but I can't. I don't have that much memory. I can't give it 5 gigabytes worth of RAM. I don't think I can give it 4 gigabytes either. So I'm just going to go 2. 4 times increase from a half a gig is good enough for now. If I don't get any kind of performance increase from giving it 2 gigabytes worth of RAM, then why should I give it even more? Oh, my good buddy Rich is on too. Hey Rich, I don't know if you watched up to this point, but I'm basically working on the Drupal 8 site live. And looks like that I've kicked off the migration process to migrate data from an old Drupal 6 site. And it looks like what it's doing is it's pulling the files, the actual image files, from the old Drupal 6 site. I can see that because it's actually having a connection to where the site is hosted. And it's pulling probably some really small files really slowly. And I'm probably just going to have to let that run overnight. But I can't kill it. Otherwise I'll have to start over. Do this all over again. You know what? I kind of think I want to kill it. And make it start over again, and then maybe it realizes that, hey, I'm going to take an inventory of all the files that I need, and then make a decision at that point if I actually do need to download all these files or not. Oh, Rich asks, so it's not just a database migration, but image assets too? Yes. And Lowell's right too, potentially any file entity, which includes file attachments, PDFs, documents, spreadsheets, whatever. And it's doing this file migration process first before it starts loading all the content of various different types and structure, so that it can properly associate the files back to the new content types that it creates. It's just taking forever. What do you think, Lowell? Should I kill it? I think I should kill it. Not pulling the trigger until you tell me to, Lowell. Well, let's take one more look. We were looking previously at the content. Here we are, all the files. And it keeps using these weird names, like original, because this one's weird. But I see when I highlight the file at the top that it points to church 001. Now, if I refresh this page, is church 001 at the top? Lowell asks, how would you tell the image migration to ignore if already exists? I don't know. But I know this original image is 2.95 megs, and it is the church. Yep. No change there. But what at the tail? That's the head. What at the tail? Only have one page? Seriously, only have one page of files? I've got 10,000 files in there. 2 pages. Last one is water game mini bot. And you're still doing things, right? Yeah, still looking at a file. CPU still goes to sleep and wakes up and does work. It's taken 14 minutes of CPU time over the course of an hour. I'm not, once again, Lobo, I'm not sure what you're communicating. Hammer, knife, gun. Drupal 7 migrate has that option to ignore it if it already exists. Well, I think that maybe I'm being stubborn in trying to execute this via a drush command. Maybe what I need to do is do the migrate UI, and then maybe I'll be presented with that those fine level choices. Because otherwise, I think what I'll need to do is try to figure out this new Drupal 8 config. Refresh that, see if there's any change, but 2 pages worth of files after all this time. Sounds preposterous. It's still the same one there, and this is the same one here. I'm getting killed it with the hammer knife. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe I did kill it by uploading all those files to that directory. But I tell you what, I'm not going to delete the files this time. Kill. That maybe if I'm going to start this over, that I just that the only thing I do is I drop the database. What do you think? Just drop the database and run the process again. By the way, there's a lag between us. Like a 10-second lag or something like that. There we go. Yeah. So running this standard installation should drop the database and kick off the installation process again. Drush SI, which stands for site install. Standard, which refers to the standard installation profile. Well, that's normally picked when you install Drupal normally anyways. And then the argument why just tells it yes to every question that it's going to ask. It was really just one. Lowell communicates with the bomb. I am, in fact, blowing it up. If you're running Drush SI for the first time, you will need to use sudo because you need to give it the ability to write to the settings.php file, or to basically create a settings.php file that it can write to so they can have all the configuration that it will need. But I guess since I did it the first time with sudo, I don't need to do it with sudo again. I just had a thought bubble. Oh, it's something I really don't want to do. Um, but if I'm going to the trouble of dropping the database and um, starting from scratch again, why don't I shut down this virtual machine and reboot it with my new memory configuration so that it has the more memory? I'm starting to think that it would be a good idea in the long run. What do you think, Rich? Well, I don't need this anymore. Well, at least we have a consensus about how it needs more RAM. Uh, okay, let me make sure. Oh, it finished. It finally finished that. We see how slow things are. So over in here, I will exit. And if I am correct, I think I just need, I'm not sure if I need to halt it. I think I need to reprovision it. Not, you know what I mean. Not 248. Don't I need to provision it, Rich? Reprovision, vagrant provision, or to get the new configuration? Or do I just need to reload? Remember? Said I didn't want to work on tools tonight. All right. Let's jump off this cliff. These things should be fast, right? Loading effects. Well, that's working. Yeah. See if this agrees. It would be this one. And the base memory says to be 12. Let's see if it's running. Maybe it does need to be halted. I don't think I could just reconfigure it this way. Settings. This way. That's not a setting. Maybe if it is shut down, maybe we'll be able to modify it then. Still loading fast. Man. Working hard. Working hard. Yeah, I'll see if I can vault it. We had a dip. And a dip. Done. That's this one. Booting up services. And it's done. Vagrant alt. VirtualBox says still running. Also says that it's half a gig. Now it's off. Vagrant still says it's a half a gig. I have a sinking suspicion about this. Vagrant, change memory size. How do I increase RAM? Easily. Oh, easily increase RAM. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then let me say, let's do a modify VM. Oh, well, okay, well, let's jump to the case then. Vagrant up. Probably could have changed it in the VM, but the whole point of having that config is that it's the config that's used. Well, I don't want multiple places that have the different configurations. I don't want to have the configuration stored elsewhere that conflicts with the configuration that the project file is giving it, that YAML file is giving it. Let's go back to internet research. How to easily increase the memory of your vagrant file. I did that. And then do a vagrant reload. Okay, I should have done a vagrant reload instead of provision. I'm not going to kill it here. Prompts waiting for me to click that are open. This is Windows, by the way. Patience is a virtue. Oh, booted and ready. That's nice. Well, I guess I did need to do it up anyways. Can't really do a reload if it's not already up, I think. Well, the documentation page says that reload's going to work. But we don't know if it's a liar or not. Let's see what happens next. Still says base memory is 512. Waiting for the machine to boot. Well, if it is the case, Lola, then I have to destroy this virtual machine and recreate it. I will not be doing it on this video. But if it is the case that doing that resolves the performance issues we're running into, then I will do that before the next show, which will be next week. Well, hopefully we won't be working on any more of this migration stuff, and we'll just be getting into the nitty-gritty of implementing the design and maybe moving some content around. Maybe I'll, at that point, be ready to show some Drupal to Drupal migration stuff, or massaging the data that we have. I know, Rich. I know, Rich. Just for more RAM, I shouldn't need to destroy it. Destroy the virtual machine. I agree. But I'm just not getting any indication yet that I have, in fact, increased the memory of this virtual machine. Once this boots up, I'll SSH in, and I'll run top again to see if I've got a different status. Maybe it's VirtualBox that's lying to me. All right, it's done. Let's get in. Do 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 do. Top. Still says it's roughly 512. Oh my God, Lolo. Oh my God. I didn't say it. Okay, it's safe now. Oh, it's safe now. What are you talking about? I'll reload. One more time. Previously set ports. Should have been there, and it is. It's there now. It's there. 2 gigabytes of RAM. It knows that it has. Okay. Now we're cooking. Will it actually be faster? That's what I want to know. Doesn't make the connection timeout faster, that's for sure. I guess I can close this now. Do. Almost done. Still not done. Okay. Vagrant SSH. Let's get in there. All right. At the top. And we've got all the things. And of the memory that it's being used, we are still using less than half. We've got a lot more space to use. But we really haven't kicked off anything intensive, so that's not a fair assessment. So let's get into our folder. And look there. Let it do that. We'll minimize that. Go to our site, which since we basically did the site install, going back to the home page should show us the default standard install. Let's get everything else out of the way. Of course you blame Windows. The entire world blames Windows, Rich. Actually, it could be Windows' fault this time. All right, standard install. All right. Maybe it still remembers the commands we were entering in before we shut it down. Yeah, well, it kind of does. Look how quickly it's cycling through those commands. Oh my gosh. All right, so this was the command that we ran earlier. Pristine copy, or right after the site install. And we were talking a little that I wasn't doing the configure only part properly. Let's see, before we actually kick off the full migration process again, let's see if I can get it right this time. What I was doing wrong was I was putting it in front. Now let's put it at the bottom. Anything happens. And of course, since this is a brand new version, freshly installed, I don't have the appropriate modules enabled. I need to enable them. Enable, migrate, upgrade, and it will, Rich, go and find all the dependencies that module needs, and will enable them all just by issuing that one command. We've had that available to us in the Drupal 7 era. It's great that we don't lose it in the Drupal 8 era. Now all those things are enabled. I should be able to do a drush ms, which is a migrate status, and it shows me, drush ms, right? Drush. Do I have the migrate drush commands now? Yeah. Drush migrate status, or otherwise known as drush ms. Oh, it needs migrate tools to run drush ms? Oh, I didn't know that. I'll enable that too. No, migrate tools is what also has the UI version of the migrate process. So enabling it may allow us to explore that avenue as well. see if we can do Drush MS now. Get a status on non-existing migrations. The only reason why we're going through all this trouble is so that we show the base case. We're showing there are no migrations after executing this. And then when we execute the command with the, it's supposed to generate all the configurations with configure only at the end. And then we do Drush MS again, we see an entire list of migrations that we could run. My previous expectation was that doing this command right here that would create actual configuration files. But maybe what it's really doing is putting all this configuration into the database. Let's see if our expectation is met. We have a list of migrations. We do. We do. Look at this. So how many files does it say it's going to create? Where is the... Aha, it is 10,615. But it's interesting that it's only 10,615. I'm just seeing Rich's comment. Yep. But that is the biggest step here is going to run. And gosh darn it, I'm gonna open PHP Storm again just to see if maybe this configure process actually created some files. So that's what I really want. If you can create those files and then I can modify those migration templates. That would be super awesome. And the way I'm trying to detect that is by letting PHP Storm scan all the files again and then take a look at the version control tab to see if there are any new files that were detected. Lowell says maybe Drush CEX. What is... I have to look that up now. Ooh, unversioned files. Oh, that's my thing. Yeah. And that reminds me I might as well just add that to the .git ignore. I won't commit that just yet. There we go. So I'll just hide the entire themes folder. Okay. I was excited there for a moment. Config export? You think maybe it's configuration? Huh. Huh. Boy, that would just that would create a new thing to investigate. But before we get there, what if by having all these photos in the photos directory, all these, and it's going to say, you know what, I don't need to grab those again, I'm fine. Why don't we check that out and see if it is creating file entities at a good pace. Now that we know that, we're able to get a list of all that. So basically, we'll go back to the same command that we just did, which was the big command here. Maybe we don't give it the legacy root. I don't give it the legacy root, then maybe it'll just expect the files to be in a specific folder and won't go through the trouble of going out and grabbing it. That's what it kind of did before, but it didn't know how to associate the files appropriately. Either way, it sounds like I'm going to be trying something, then I'll have to roll it back and try again. What do you think? To do the expensive / could be more complete, or should I try the faster, fail faster kind of way? I'll wait for your answer. I want to fail fast. Let's do this. I'm not going to wait. Your answer. Okay, it's going to hang on the alias a little bit because there are 12,000 aliases it has to create. Let me see from our list here. 12,000 aliases, and it'll speed through. And it's got 427 block configuration instances. Interesting that they've got 60 custom block situations. I sure hope they don't have any custom code that they threw into a block. But why would you have 60 custom blocks? They're usually just dumb containers of markup. Custom blocks. All right, let's go through our normal process. We've got one terminal open there, doing stuff. We'll open another one over here. See if it's how it's working and how much resources it's using. You know, Rich, I do miss you. Over here. And I guess I didn't need to do that because I just want to list processes and I wanted to grep that. Looks like it's getting ready to start working on files. Grep that for Drush. It's this one. I think. I think it's I do top P. Can I give the list? Give it like 14474. I said 4. 14475. I can't. I'm proud of myself. Okay, look. The amount of memory that is being used is more than 512. That's great. Is it steadily increasing? Kind of looks like it is. Nope, went down there. But it's still, oh, it's on file now. It's on file now. So I didn't give it the legacy root. So hopefully the thing that it's spending its time on right now is purely the creation of file entities based upon the available information that it has. And that it just knows that when it has a file URL stored, that it should expect a path similar to where the file is on the Drupal 8 site. So if all this is true, then what we should be able to see in our Drupal site here is that it's creating file entities periodically. And in order to check that out, I'm going to need to log in. Since that one's monitoring things, I'm going to need another terminal. I do have another terminal. This one. I like to keep them like this. Can't do that on a Mac. Maybe you can. All right, then. Change delay to, I don't want to change delay. And that's the Drupal site, .ui. I got my one-time login link. There we go. Site. In. There we go. I'll be able to log in. Okay. And log in. And previously, I looked at this block that gets pushed here, and this image here actually has the fully qualified path to an external site. So I'm not confident that that should have been brought in by a previous process. Whoops, I want to zoom. There we go. Okay. This is the page I want to come up. So we've got no content. That's what we should expect at this point. We haven't started the content migration process. But we do need to take a look at what files, if any. Well, we've got files. That one is the path, if I hover over the link to the image, it is, looks like a proper path. I bet if I click on this, yep, that's a valid image. And one page. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more than one page. Did open that. Wait a minute. This is the quick pager, Lowell. This is just the quick pager. It's not showing the pager like we normally expect in Drupal 7, where it shows page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then next. It's just saying next. Okay. But maybe it's moving on. Nope, still working on files. How many files did you find? Yeah. Maybe if I've modified the administrative view, I can get it to tell me how many files it thinks it has. It's just a select query, so it shouldn't be blocking. Let me try that. Here we are. And if I scroll to the top, I get this checkbox. I can open the view that is controlling this page. And here it is. And it's aggregating things, so maybe I won't be able to. Why do I have aggregation settings here? Why am I aggravating? Group wrote results together. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we didn't fix the forget what it's called, it's getting late. If I wanted to add account, use count, no, I use count. Use all count. No. It's not what I want. The mini pager, that's what it's called. Mini pager, 50 items per page. So should have a pager named full pager. And then we can do 50 items per page. That's fine. We don't have to save this in that way. We won't modify things. Just want to be able to do the math in our heads. Go to the last page. $35. Okay, 35. 50. Let's make it simpler for ourselves. Only 1,750. There we go. 100 items per page. Yeah, if that's the case, it's got a ways to go. But hey, we kicked this off like what? 10 minutes ago or something? And it's already imported like 10%. We'll only have to wait an hour or so for it to finish. Okay, 100 items per page. Last page. Ooh, 20. Okay. That is called MacGyvering. MacGyvered the solution. So when I go to the edit room and I modify this, what is now 2.5 hour video down to the redeemable parts, the video will probably be 5 minutes long. But I still don't think I know any advanced knowledge of migration process to be able to custom make a migration to the extent that I know how to make custom migrations in Drupal 7. But, Lowell, maybe you're right. Maybe all I do need to do is export the configuration for it somehow and then be able to modify it. But it sure would be nice if there was some documentation that basically says, hey, here's an example migration, drop this in and then modify it a little bit, or walk through the process of migrating content from one source into a custom content type. I do know that there is an examples module, and I suppose while we're waiting for this to finish, if we can get past the files and then get to the point where the migration process completes and then we see all the things in all the right places, then I can just call it quits at that point. It's getting really late for me here. But while we're waiting for this number to get to 100, let me see if the examples module comes in. I know that Lucas has given me a link to a project he's had a couple of times. Maybe I can take a quick look at that again and see if I can come to any revelations about that. All right, stepping up. I'm going to go to the command line, this one. We're going to get the example module. Download it. It has an example migrations. All right, so it knew that I'm running Drupal 8, and it grabbed a bunch of examples, one of which is a plugin type example, which could be useful, and a config entity example, which could be useful. But I don't see any migration examples. That's going to be useful to have in the future anyways. But let's see if I can find Drupal migration, Drupal 8 migration examples. Look at that. Metal Toad. I like those guys. That's nice too. All the things. I think since this was November of 2015, that sounds relevant. Mike knows what he's talking about. Oh, wait, I think I've read that. I don't think that's what I think it is. Okay, let's take a look at these. Cool. So here, the first part, creating your basic.info file to define a module. Great. For our migration, we need to create a YAML file containing source, destination, and map, which is now called process. So they're just basically saying that within the module, if you have a config directory that has an install directory, you can put your YAML files in there, and it will do migration. So if we wanted to do a custom migration of, for example, the content type that they've created called blog posts, and funnel that content into the article content type and not the blog post content type, we would need to create a similar directory and put stuff there. But I am not certain that I would need to create a source plugin. This one is saying that they're going to need to create a custom user plugin. And this part, migration source, this annotation, this code annotation here, is what they're using in order to tell the migration process that this code is used whenever you're contacting the source for the custom user. But again, I don't think I need to do that. I think I just need to tell it that I connect to the Drupal 6 site and use the blog post content type somehow. So let's skip all that. Yep, exposing the anatomy here. And then the map. Not exactly sure I need to. What's this? Running the migration using Drush 7. Now it is time to install our new module and run the migrations. Get the dependencies going, and then we need to create a manifest file. Create a file named manifest. And that would create a list of migrations that need to run. Okay. It's interesting, so you can make a collection of different migrations to run. It's interesting. Oh, Lowell's asking me to run that CEX. Sure. Let me check in to see how far along we've gotten here. So, here. It said last. 20. 32. 3,200 files. Okay. CX. I guess I should have checked to see if there was any arguments I need to give that. It's exporting things. We'll take a look to see what's in there. Yep, it's definitely going to scan. Stuff in there. Let's say for the last time. Oh, interesting. Alright, all kinds of config. All kinds of config. Is there a folder there? Oh, no. Block stuff. Individual blocks that have probably been generated. What's the name of the migration template that we should be looking out for? Oh, that's my module. Oh, did I get started with something? I did get started with something. What is in here? Oh, this must be the stuff that I was reading from Lucas, where he was creating a custom migration that imports data from a CSV file. Okay. Distraction. So the core folder, there's all the stuff that Drupal core provides. And block has migration templates, and that file is named d6_block. Do I have a file that is named d6_block in my exported configuration? Close that one. Go back to files, sync folder, d6. Ooh, migrate.migration. What is in there? Well, looky there. Huh. Look at all that. So, if that's the case, what if I could isolate the migration that handles the blog content type? And I dissect this, and it says that the source is a D6 node, and it is a blog content type. Here's how it's mapping. It's going to go into a node. Can I tell it which one? Destination, plugin, node, template, D6 node. What if so it looks like here's all the details about its migration. Ooh. So this is the source. This, to me, I'm thinking what this is talking about the Drupal 6 site. So it is the Drupal 6 node plugin. It's going to access Drupal 6 nodes, and the type in the source is block. What I expect to see here is that the node type of the destination is also block, but instead what I see is the template D6 node. So maybe the destination template that is named D6 node is different than the source template that is D6 node. The D6 node is a plugin for the source. Yeah, I think what they've got here is the name of this is confusing. All I want to do is tell it to don't create a blog content type in the Drupal 8 site and then have all that data funnel in there, but to reuse the article content type instead and map whatever needs to be mapped into that. How do I search for the destination template D6 node? Then I'll find that in node. I have to go to core. So I bet Lowell's pretty happy. Doing Drush CEX looks like it's going to be pretty impactful because I'm able to export all the migrations that are stored in the database. Yeah, well, I'm guessing that too, Lowell, that I could just add node_type to the destination and that would just magically be the solution. But I want proof. I want to see it. For all this effort, I want it to be clear and obvious. All right, so this is B6 node template. I think this is what it's basically doing. So the builder is D6 node, source D6 node. How do I find entity node? This is not making things clearer. Not sure what to look at next. But maybe it's in source. Plugin, migrate, destination, node type. So maybe you are right, Lowell, because it has this plugin, this annotation here is specifically triggering on the presence of entity : node type. And just by the name of this variable, it sounds like it will take whatever value is coming from the old content, but it says old destination ID value. Let's try to look at the builder. Maybe the builder tells us what's going on. At the bottom. Node type. Where are you getting node type? Node type. Get source property type. But that's because for each source plugin, node type, template source. Looks like it's hardwiring that. Like it's always got to be the same. Because in this for each, it gets something called type name And it uses that to build a collection of info. And here it gets type. So maybe type and type name are different, but why would you name them so similar? All right. Looked at process. Looked at source. And the node type is D6 node type. Why would you do all this work just to get the type of the node? All right. After all that investigation, maybe that's what we need to do. Because of this. Maybe it's this. But that doesn't quite make sense. You don't see anything else like that. We can't have two colons. So now that we've modified the configuration, we would have to import the configuration. But I'm definitely not doing that while it's depending on the same configuration to do the import. Something to test at a later time. We're 6 minutes away from the hard stop. How many files has it imported? I don't believe it. That's where it was last time. Still working on the files. Ooh, look at the memory now. The memory is almost a gig. Almost a gig used by various things. Yep. And the CPU is handling it. And we're still getting things. Look at that transfer rate. Or maybe we got it. Did I say we had 33,000 or 2,005 last time? Either way, this will have to run. Even more than it currently does. Oh, why did I refresh? For tag-based caching. So caching the result might be cached. Whatever, I'm not changing. So, we're gonna have to leave it there tonight. The next week, we'll be hopefully spending a good portion of the time diving into theming aspects and be able to start with the content funnel bin um, and have the images referenced in the content. But we don't have to work with these problems again. Good news is that we've got the virtual machine getting as much memory as it can meet. And yeah, we'll get started with actually the site building processes, being able to do things with the data that we've got from there. We'll start with an inventory and then get going with making things. So I'll see you next week for another session of Drupal and Coffee. Good night to Rich. Good night to Owen.